Hey everybody, it's it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here once again. I really should amend that opening because there are some copycats who, they do these little talks about movies, and because their shitty rating system is so outdated and so bad, they have to resort to basically copying what I do. And I've seen it. I've been seeing it for years now, like ever since 2019 when I really started to pick things up on YouTube. I saw people, instead of just saying like, yeah, I give this movie a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. Instead of just doing that, like there are all the other boring people and their boring reviews, they'll start copying me and saying, and I think that was like a cheese sandwich with a mayonnaise crumble on top with a cherry shake on the side, because it's not like that. It's not a beef sandwich. It's a cheese sandwich. Like people really, they think they're sly. And I just wanted to get that off my chest because I've noticed that for a while now. Like people, all of a sudden, it's become a trend. And it's like, should I really keep saying that if other people are copying me? Or should I amend that and just, say, hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on Movies. It feels kind of like half. It feels incomplete. Because it feels like you have to have and we're the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It feels, it's so natural. Anyways, that's been bugging me for a while. I just wanted to get that out there because this is probably one of the most important reviews of the year on this channel. Of course, I'm not gonna act like Benedetta in this movie and be like, oh, I am just okay, we need to talk about Benedetta because that's the movie that I watched. I watched it twice and I loved it. I thought that it was a masterpiece. I thought that it was just really just perfect. It was, it has some problems that you can overlook, which we'll get into. A lot of it's spoilers though. But can you really count history as spoilers? I don't know. And it's directed by the guy who did RoboCop and Basic Instinct. Those are the only movies of his I've seen, and I've only seen each of those once. So I really didn't go in with any high expectations. I didn't go in with any low expectations, like with Titane, or however you say Titan. I didn't go in with the same type of view of that. And honestly, like, this movie just destroys Titan. It really shows what a plot and what characters can do for a film. Like, Titan is the opposite. Like, these two movies are the perfect films to pair together. Because on one side, you have Benedetta, which is all substance with not a lot of style, okay? There's not a lot of show-offy shit in it. There's not a lot of, like, look at the vistas. Look at it's like a landscape painting. Oh my God, it's just so beautiful. It's not like that, but it is beautiful to look at because it's colorful. And I feel like I have to say that because I've been complaining about that with everything I review. That sucked out all the color. That sucked out all the color. This movie has got plenty of color. It is beautiful just to look at all these vibrant colors. The whole movie's like a painting. So I really love that because especially with historical movies nowadays, they suck that color out as soon as they can. They suck that color out and they're like, oh, well, we sucked the color out because it's history, so that means it looks different. Like, fuck off, you soulless, emo, depressed, whiny little editors, you know, do your jobs and just edit the films. Because a lot of people in the film industry nowadays, they're like the main character in this movie. And that's why I'm bringing it up, because this movie is very, very relevant to today, to any time, really. It's a very timeless story. Even though it takes place at this specific period in time, it is a perfect story for this day and age, because you have this main character, Benedetta, and she is like Tammy Faye. She is, ever since she's a kid, she's putting on these shows, she's lying, she's having these possessions, quote unquote. They're probably demonic possessions that she just thinks are possessions by Jesus or whatever the fuck she thought. It's just all bullshit, and she's just doing it for attention, and she's doing it so that she can be looked at as special, and she can, it's like she's an attention whore. She's a classic example of an attention whore. That doesn't mean that I didn't like her. I mean, this is a very she's a very three-dimensional character, and she has a lot of aspects to her that I like, and yes, that was kind of hinting at the nude scenes, which we'll talk about nudity later, because that's going to also be a general discussion that I've wanted to have about film nowadays. Specifically nowadays, too, because we all know if this movie came out in the 80s, you wouldn't have any of these pussy critics talking about, oh, this movie was so graphic. Oh no. I'm married with kids, but I don't understand why I have to look at a woman's nudity on screen. Oh my God. Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna walk out of this movie and go watch fucking Ghostbusters 2016. We'll talk about them later. We're talking about attention whores right now, because, you got all these people, you got all these editors. What do? They over-edit movies for attention. They did that with Rocky IV, the director's cut. What did Sylvester Stallone do? He over-edited to get attention, to say, look, I've always thought that this was better. It's not just that I want to make some quick cash, not just that I want to make some quick bucks so that I can get more lollipops, because you should see the documentary of him making Rocky IV director's cut. He just was sucking on lollipops the whole time. It was like, oh God, he's just sucking on those lollipops, which Christopher Lee called cavities on a stick in that shitty Charlie and the Chocolate Factory remake. Just everyone wants attention nowadays. Even I want attention. I want fucking attention. You're damn right I want attention, because attention is energy. It's not really just attention in general. It's energy. It's, I want you to give me energy so that it'll make me feel happy. And the editors, they suck out all the color, they over-edit it so that they can get your energy. And even probably me saying, they suck out all the color, I'm giving them my energy. And you should not do that. Don't give these people energy. Don't give anyone your energy unless you want to, because it can be abused. And with this movie, you had this woman, Benedetta, she abused people. She found this Bartolina, she found this chick, I guess she was a whore, or she was a victim of incest, and she was abused by her father and her brothers, a really dark background. And she came in, it reminded me a little bit of the Virgin Spring, the way that you had like this witchy type of character, and you had this more like pure blonde type character who, she's she's like the all good person, and then you have the dark haired girl, and she's the bad girl, she's the dirty girl. That's what it reminded me of. And she finds her because she stumbles in because she's afraid for her life because she attacked her dad with scissors and tried to kill him. So I guess he was gonna kill her for trying to kill him, which I guess it makes sense in his point of view. I mean, that was something, with her character. I think that it was good that we didn't really get a lot more from her, because I don't really know if her story, if they could come up with something that would be satisfactory to the story, because do we know what happened to her? Because that was the one thing that I just wondered, like, after the film, was what happened to Bartolina? What happened to her? What became of her? Let's learn some more about her, because she's very important to the story. But at the same time, it's like, okay, it's good that they didn't speculate and make up some Hollywood bullshit, because that would have been awful. But this movie, it's all about Benedetta. And Benedetta is basically the 1600s version of Greta Thunberg. I mean, she's an attention whore who just spouts nonsense to get attention and to make people, cry and be like, oh, we should all listen to her. She's just, we should just surrender all of everything we believe in for her. And, she's just a complete BSer. She is a total, but she's really likable. I really liked her because, you know what? The first thing I thought when I saw this movie was she looks exactly like Daisy Ridley. And wow, she is so beautiful. And I was so glad, because now I'll never have the urge to see Daisy Ridley nude again, because I've seen Benedetta nude, and so that's all I need, because I just saw, and so I don't need to see. I'm not gonna be looking out for the next Daisy Ridley movie, because she looks exactly like her, except she has blonde hair, and I think her skin is slightly more tan. Like Titan! No, not like Titan. So this movie just really follows her and her attention whorisms and this forbidden affair. And it's funny because I watched another movie with the forbidden affair in it, and it was bad. But this was good. There you go. It just proves that you can make the same story over and over again, and if it's done well, it's going to be good. But the thing is that it was a lot more. I loved the plot, and I loved the fact that there was a lot more to it than just the affair. Than just, oh no, what's going to happen if we have an affair? Oh no, someone found out. Oh, what are we going to do? Sorry about that, but I just really enjoyed this movie. Like, there's so many things to like about it. Like, where do I even begin? I mean, I already began with Daisy Ridley, blonde Daisy Ridley. That's number one why I like this film. Well, not number one in terms of, like, most important, but just starting off a list of things that I loved about this film. Number two, I loved how it looked. Obviously, I loved it. It looked like a fairy tale. It looked like a beautiful, like a Skyrim. It made me want to play some Skyrim. Like fuck yeah, I want to play some Skyrim right now after watching this movie. And he didn't have to do it, the art porn. He didn't have to have these, like, overly pretty shots with, like, oh look, a puddle of pink explodes on the characters, and then the characters take the pink and they rub it all over themselves, and then they puke out red, and the red covers them up after the pink, and then the green comes down from the sky. Like, they didn't have to do any overly complicated things like that to make it look really good. Like, it looks just so good. And to top that off, you thought that was good. The music, wow. The music in this movie, the score was phenomenal. It was perfect for the film. It fits the film. A lot of choir, it just, wow. What fantastic music. It really, really helped the music for this movie. It really added to the atmosphere. It's just so, just so different and just so fun, the way that, with a lot of movies you can't really have this type of music or it comes off as artificial. They try to insert it into other types of films. They try to have, oh look, we're going to have a sad moment, so we're going to have a choir song now, or we're going to have a sequence where it's sad, so we're going to have the Middle Eastern woman going, they do that all the time, and it really doesn't fit, but it fits in this film. We don't get any, like, annoying ass shit like that, though, like, Benedetta and Bartolina licked each other's pussies. We don't get anything like that, thankfully, but, we get a lot of great music, and I love the music. Probably, it is the best music of the year. And in terms of performances, I wouldn't necessarily say that they're the best performances of the year, because that would be really kind of like, I need to, like, think about all the performances I've seen, because performances show through a bad movie. So there have been some bad movies with good performances. And now, is there anything else? Well, I guess it really, the emotion was well done too. The emotion really came through the plot. Like with a lot of these historical movies, it's very objective about everything. And it's very like, you feel kind of like a student watching it in school in a history class, and you're like, yeah, okay, watching this historical movie, like even a good movie, and watching it in the environment of a school, or in the environment of just a place that is just not fitting, it really ruins the movie. This movie is so emotional and so I don't know, I could really feel through what they were trying to make me feel from all the story beats, and I loved the ending. The ending, the last act was probably the best part. I mean, the rest of the movie was pretty good, but the last act is really where the movie shines. And something else that's really cool is that the use of visions and supernatural elements, because this whole film, you're sort of wondering, it's this ambiguity of, is this girl Benedetta, is she bullshitting these idiots, these these losers who they're just so hypocritical, and so they're just so dumb and so gullible, and like, they're just so weak and pathetic. Like, you have these scenes of like these people whipping themselves, and it's like, that's not a life to live. That's not how normal people should be living their lives. Walking around whipping themselves, and at one point, Benedetta, she's not allowed to have bread for a week, and she's not allowed to have something else too. I can't remember. Because she was too mean or something like that. Like, she does something really bad, but just these stupid things, like, you can't do this, but you can do that, and you can't do this, but you can do that. Even just the beginning of the film, just showing how they bring their little girl to this covenant, and of course she's Benedetta, the main character, and she, they don't even accept her without a payment, without like 100 denarii or whatever the fuck it was called, $100 basically. And it's like, you really don't care about people at all. You don't care about helping people. You don't care about You don't care about anything. It's just all bullshit. It's just all like a play. It's like role playing. It's like those weirdos who, they role play and go like, I'm your school teacher. It's time for detention. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. It's that same type of bullshit. It's all bullshit. And this film really shows that from this time period. We need more films like this that show this time period and all these losers who just, they abuse people. And like, especially the scene that was probably most troubling with these people in the Covenant is when they take Bartolina and they torture her, and they take this instrument and they shove it inside of her, and then they spin it, and it like opens up, and it's just really like tough to watch. And then they cut away and you can just hear her screaming. And then after they torture her for telling the truth, by the way, they just throw her out of the Covenant, and she's just all of a sudden just a worthless human being again. And it's like, what authority do these people have just because they're religious? Just because they have religion means that they can shove an instrument inside of a person and torture them like a serial killer would? Like, that is some gross ass shit. And tons of other things too, like as I mentioned in the picture for the review. And this is all spoilers, by the way, but it's history. It's a movie that's history. You're not allowed to see someone else naked. But then, of course, when Sister Christina has to fucking whip herself for no reason for telling the truth, she's allowed to take off her clothes and strip for them and show herself naked while she's punishing herself for telling the truth. Just things like that are just hilarious to look at. And I really think that was the ultimate point of this film, was simply religious hypocrisy from these people from this time period. It still happens today, but obviously not as bad as this, because you could never do this today. You could never torture a person inside of a covenant today. But you do have the pedophile issue today, and that's been there forever. But all this happened. It's all history. It's all a true story, basically. There were some things that were changed, which I researched because I was interested. This movie made me interested in the subject too, which that's a rarity for these types of films, to interest me enough to want to go do research and look up things and try to see what really happened and see, is this movie just Hollywood BS? Well, no, it's not. Well, for one, it's a French film, so that's automatically an upgrade from every other film that came out this year, except for Titan and the Danish one with Mads Mikkelsen, and there's some other things that I could talk about too, but I don't know if I will. And I'll say something else, that this movie gave me some really good dreams. Like, that's weird. That is a mark of a good movie. Like with Titane, I had a fantastic dream about the film before I even saw the film. And with this one, I had fantastic dreams afterwards. I had one dream where there were all these giant bald eagles flying around, and that was from watching something else too on YouTube, so that wasn't, I can't entirely say it's because of Benedetta, but there were these giant bald eagles. There was one that was on my porch, and it was just standing there eating and like moving its head around and looking around. It was so creepy to look at, this huge bird. It was as big as a person, and it was really like, uh-oh, this is fucking scary. And so I had to like hunt them down, but I didn't get to do it because then I was in this like dark room with it was all flooded, and there were all these metal tables with metal torture instruments, And there were all these notes that were written by like a crazy guy who said that he's able to kill giant eagles, so why can't I? And he can torture and kill people, so why can't I? And that was the end of that dream. That was a weird one. It was kind of like a video game where it was like, the letters were being read out loud to me by this crazy person. And then for the second dream, I was actually playing a video game, and I beat the whole video game, and it was like a Hitman game. It was Hitman 2. It looked exactly like that, and I beat the whole game, and at the end of the game, I was really upset because the last mission was so rudimentary and so easy that it felt like the first level. And then I found myself inside a hospital, and I was actually in the video game, I guess, and I had to kill someone in the hospital. I was going by all these rooms trying to sneak around, and then a guy saw me, and because I was sneaking too loudly, and he was going to call the police, and I found him in this kitchen, and all the walls of the kitchen were made of glass. So I broke through the door in the kitchen, and I killed him. And then I had this bucket icon on my screen, and I gathered up all these items that were like quest items. But like you see how cool that is? And both times, I'm telling you, I've never woken up with a boner as much as I did after watching this movie. Both times, after both dreams, I was like, Urgh! I woke up with a steel, just steel. And I was like, wow, thanks a lot, movie. I mean, this movie is just on another level. I mean, that's all there is to say. Like, I know those dreams are weird. Who cares, though? Because they're fucking dreams. I can dream about whatever the fuck I want. I have no control of it anyway. But it was such a fantastic little group of dreams. And so that is a valid point, though, that if a movie gives you good dreams, if a movie affects you, if it makes you think about it afterwards, that's a valid point to say this movie's good. Because you can't just objectively say, Benedetta was good, Benedetta was bad. This is just all my opinion, and that's all it's ever going to be for everyone who talks about film, everything. It's just all everyone's own opinions. So why do people act like, it can be objective? It's just stupid. Because with this movie, you had a bunch of critics. Okay, let's talk about the funniest scene first. I haven't even rated it in terms of food yet. This is going to be a long review. I don't care. I love this movie. Fuck yeah, I'm making a long review. I have two things to talk about. Fuck. Number one, probably the funniest scene of the movie was Bartolina comes in late to this choir singing day, and she stands right behind Benedetta, and she unzips the back of her robe, and then she just shoves her fingers in that coochie. She literally grabs her by the pussy. It's really funny. And Benedetta's like, since she has a vision after that, it's like, that was that was so funny. That's another thing, too, is that this movie had a lot of dark comedy. It had a lot of comedy in general that really helped balance out some of the more negative elements of the film. And included with that, there were all these visions in the movie, these supernatural visions, quote unquote, and we don't really know the whole movie. It's kind of ambiguous of if these visions are really happening. If this girl is really a blessed one. Is she a blessed one? Is she a chosen one? Is she gonna be a martyr? Hopefully not. If you've ever seen the movie Martyrs, I wouldn't want to be one of them. Fuck that. Well, these visions are really cool because they're kind of like the visions out of A Clockwork Orange in the way that they're very over the top, they're very fake, they're very funny, and the visions were another highlight of the film. So Now let's talk about the nudity, then I'll rate it, and then I want to talk about the ending in spoilers section. So the nudity, this movie has nudity in it. Thank the Lord, as these people in the movie would say. Thank the Lord. This movie has a ton of nudity. And it's not overdone, it's just there's nudity when there's nudity. And, Paul Verhoeven, the director, he really spoke about the subject of nudity well. He talked about, for some reason in America, we're going to this Puritan viewpoint on nudity. And it's just so pathetic and embarrassing. Like, oh, we can't have nudity in films because that's sexist. We can't show sex without clothes on because that's sexist. And, you have, like, with the new Cowboy Bebop, who the fuck's watching that shit? I'm not watching it. They took the female character from the anime, and they dressed her up more to cover her up. Like, you gotta cover her up so that men can't look at you. And, we gotta just cover everyone up because we can't look at naked people even though we're adults, because that's sexist. There's just this big agenda nowadays with stripping away, quote unquote, the sexuality in films. You have all these actresses, they're coming out and they're pretending like they had a problem with nudity when they did the films. Like you had, what was that one? Jennifer Lopez, she talked about how she was like crying to a director that she wouldn't have to do a topless scene. And it's like, what, did she not know about that before she signed up for the film? Like, what the fuck is up with that? You just got all these actresses nowadays in particular who are they're sort of ruining it because the actresses in America, that is, they're ruining it because they're pretending like it's always been some sort of a huge issue, and it's like this big undiscussed thing about Hollywood, like, oh no, women are naked in movies, oh my god, oh that's so, and it's like, and it's funny because with this movie, the reason I even heard about this movie to begin with was because I saw an article that said Benedetta is so graphic, it not only is it blasphemous, which it is blasphemous, but it is also it's so graphic, it's like a porno. It is like a porno because there's women's breasts. Oh my god. I saw a breast. I saw an ass. Oh fuck. Oh no, I'm gonna cry and have a temper tantrum because I just can't handle the human form that God made. My God made the human, but I don't even want to look at a human. That's the type of gross ass shit from these pussy ass critics. The critics who were allowed to see this film at Cannes. All the people at Cannes Film Festival, these festivals, they cried like little bitches. Oh, it's just too much. I can't take the human form. I can't. Oh no. Oh. They're a bunch of little bitches, and it's like, you people, you need to get the hell out of here because, we're adults, we're grown up. We can see nudity in film. There's no reason not to have nudity in film. There shouldn't be any shame about seeing a naked woman or seeing a naked person in a film. I mean, what kind of pathetic ass little crybaby bitch are you that you're gonna complain that you saw a titty in a film? I mean, it's beautiful too, the way that he shoots them, the way that it's like, you can. It's not necessarily like just looking at it like, oh yeah, that's a nude scene. It's like, it's very beautiful. The scenes in this movie, they're more than just like, they're the nude scenes, quote unquote. They're very, you can feel it. You can feel the emotion through it. And that's like an example, like with Basic Instinct. Another example, a movie from the 80s, that's a fantastic film. Once again, Sharon Stone, she's doing the little attention whore thing nowadays, the Greta Thunberg thing, talking about it. Oh, I wish that they would pull the film, the director's cut. Oh no. Oh, I'm so ashamed. Oh, nudity, it's just so shameful. Oh my God. You have that, and with Basic Instinct, it was beautiful too, but she's like fully naked in that movie. She spreads her legs wide open for the camera, and that fucking iconic scene where she's being interrogated, and it's not exploitative. It's just there. And it's like, if you have a problem with that, then you are the problem, because there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. Obviously there are exceptions, like obviously Cuties, for example. We shouldn't be having films like Cuties being made, but these are grown-ass adults. These are women of consenting age, which is 18, or it might be different in France. And they said yes, they'll do it. And so there shouldn't be any whining and complaining. Oh my God, did you see? Benedetta had nudity in it. Oh, it should be banned all over the world. Oh, I can't take it because it's a human body. Oh, bodies are so gross. They're just so gross. Even though I have a body myself, I don't even look at my own body because I'm just so ashamed. I wear a swimming suit in the shower. They did that too. If you've ever seen, they've done that before in movies. That's just all I wanted to say about nudity. We need to have more nudity in films. We need to stop this reverting, going backwards, where it's like the attitude is, cover it up, missy, cover it up, whore. We shouldn't be able to see that because that's not good. We should be doing the opposite and saying, yeah, we should see a nude scene. We should see her naked, because that's what would happen. People have sex, they're naked. Why are we seeing sex scenes where people have their clothes on? I mean, what an embarrassment. What a complete embarrassment. And just all the gymnastics that people do nowadays so that they don't show nudity. Like, you have a scene, like in, for instance, American Horror Story Season 2, you have like multiple whipping scenes. And what do? They conveniently don't show the actual whipping because, we can't see that, because it's really bad. It's gotten so bad nowadays. It's an embarrassment. And so I just wanted to talk about that. Obviously there are certain actresses and they're not comfortable doing that, which is fine. But that doesn't mean that we should change cinema to just please a small amount of the world's actresses, because there are actresses like the ones in this movie who are willing to act. And, I myself am willing to go naked for any film that needs me to go naked, except for if it's like a shitty trauma movie or something like that. I wouldn't go naked for a trauma movie, but if Paul Verhoeven asked me to be in, Basic Instinct 3, you're fucking right, I'd go naked for Basic Instinct 3. Are you kidding me? Fuck yeah. Like, I'm an actor. That's what actors do. They're supposed to act. They're not supposed to, we've gotten, I think it's a symptom of a problem, of just focusing too much on actors and not really having everyone a part of a film production have an equal amount of importance. Like, we've gotten too much into the attitude of, like, oh, that person's The Rock. We should vote for him for president. We shouldn't. We should never do that. Fuck that shit. The Rock for president? Ew. I'd rather vote for my dick as president. Like, what the fuck? My dick would make better decisions than The Rock as a person, as a whole. I mean, come on. What are we doing here? We need to get back to the attitude, or we need to have the attitude that everyone in a film matters. And that, like with Keanu Reeves, the way that he treats his crews and the people that he works with, that's the prime example. If you want to follow a good example, follow Paul Verhoeven. Follow Keanu Reeves. Do not follow Jennifer Lopez and all these attention whores who just, they want to complain to get the attention because the attention is what it's really all about. It's not about, like, oh, I don't want to do nudity. Nudity in films is wrong. Sexist, blah, blah, blah. It's not about that. It's about that attention. Because why didn't they ever speak about it years and years ago? Right? Okay. So now I'm going to rate this fantastic movie in terms of food. And it's hard because the first time I watched it twice. I watched it last night, then I watched it again this morning. It's hard because the first time I watched it, I felt like when I was a kid watching The Godfather, and it was such a masterpiece of a film that I couldn't even understand how good it was because I was just too stupid to, like, see. And so I was like, this is good. But then this morning I really grasped it, and I took it by the okay, I'm not going to be crude with that one. But I understood it finally, and I came to it's a really well done film, and I don't necessarily know where it fits though in the grand scheme of things, because I would definitely watch it again. I would probably say it's the best movie of the year. I would highly recommend going to the theaters to see this movie. If you have the chance, go support this movie in theaters. Give this movie your bucks, and you're going to get to see some more nudity. Okay, do you want to see more nudity? Or do you want to see more movies like Interstellar, where there is no sexuality and women look like men? Women are just dressed down and uglified. Men are just men. There's no sexuality in these movies, in these American films nowadays. We need more films like this that, the sexuality isn't the whole film, but it's good to have that sexuality. It's almost like this movie is a forbidden movie because we can't have the nudity in films. Nudity is bad. Can't have a breast. Oh no, we can't do that because that's not pure. We can't do that. You see, this issue has just been a huge issue for years now, and so I was glad to finally talk about it. You know what? This movie, I'm going to go right out and say it. Have you guys ever had French toast? Oh shit, that came off so bad. Oh, I gave a French movie French toast. Oh fuck. French toast. Have you guys ever had really good French toast? I mean, just, thick French toast like Benedetta and Bartolina. They are thick French toast. This movie is one big ass plate of French toast with whipped cream, ice cream, maple syrup drizzling all over that French toast, and a big ass glass of OJ. Not OJ Simpson. He is a bad boy. OJ orange juice. You got a big glass of orange juice, a big plate of French toast. What more could you want? Well, I'll tell you what more could you want, because that's not enough to describe the goodness of this movie. You got a plate of sausage, of beautiful breakfast sausage. That's probably like my favorite thing for breakfast, my favorite breakfast meat. You got ham, bacon, sausage, eggs. My favorite's probably sausage. Little sausages that are like just slightly overcooked. That is the soundtrack, the score to this movie, I mean. So it's just a beautiful breakfast. And it fills you up, and it just leaves you feeling so satisfied and so glad that, like, you took the chance to watch this movie, this foreign movie. Is it going to be good? I mean, because with any movie like this, it's so different. It's a religious movie. It's got history. You have to read subtitles. It's got a lot of things that sort of, kind of make you question, should I watch this or should I watch the new Nicolas Cage movie where it's all right out in the open? Well, you should watch this movie. That's for damn sure. Now let's talk about spoilers. The best part of this movie is for sure the ending. The last act where she puts on her final show. She basically... this bitch, this attention whore Benedetta, she puts on a show for the ages where she gets wheeled out like Jesus was wheeled out, and she gets laughed at and she gets mocked, and she basically does this speech where she talks about the plague and how the nuncio, whatever, the head religious guy who came to town, this evil prick who came to town to basically judge this woman. I thought only God was supposed to judge people. Well, oh no, not anymore, because she gets judged by Nuncio. Sorry, it looks like there's a utility vehicle, so I just had to just look around and see what's going on. So she does this final act, and after that, it's really cool because she's about to get burnt at the stake, and one of the people from the crowd throws this big-ass stone at the executioner and just knocks him out on the ground. I mean, that was so cool. That just was so invigorating after just the feeling. You really got a feeling this whole movie of oppression and of, just really like an uncomfortable, like suffocating feeling. Like these people, they can't have privacy at all. Like the two main women, Bartolina and Benedetta, they're taking a shit, and after that, just like right after that, when they're about to go to bed, that someone comes in and spies on them, Sister Christina, and it's like, what the hell? Like, there's all these moments like that where they're in the middle of doing something, they get interrupted by these people, these weird people who they're so weird. They're just so weird. Like, what did they do every day? They just sew and sing? Like, what did they, like, what a weird group of people. And you just have this feeling of, just this gross feeling the whole movie. And then at the end, when the town, this town of Pescia, this town revolts, and this town fucks these people up. They fuck up these tyrants, these religious tyrants, and they they stab to death the nuncio, and all the blood goes everywhere like in Basic Instinct when the guy gets stabbed with the ice pick. It was really cool just seeing these people get what they deserve, these tyrants. And then the two main women, they run away together, and they're living off on their own. And then Benedetta has the urge to go back to the town. And Bartolina also discovered a key piece of evidence that showed that she was faking it the whole time. And she discovered a shard of glass, which Benedetta used to cut open her hands to make herself look like she got stigmatted. And like, what an attention whore. Like, talk about attention whore. I mean, people nowadays, they just go on Twitter and they say, oh, the white man is evil. Oh, guys, it's so terrible nowadays. The patriarchy, the white man, the corporations. You see that all the time nowadays on Twitter. These people, these mentally ill people having breakdowns about their racist and misandrous views. Back then you had people like this who would literally cut themselves and just bleed all over the place and pretend like they're possessed so that they could get attention. So I thought that was really interesting. Just the aspect of this person who, she's a figure of history and she's not around nowadays to speak, quote unquote, the truth. So, how do we tell, what was real, because this town, after they got rid of these evil tyrants, the town was completely spared of the plague. And I just thought that that was really weird. I mean, that was probably the weirdest thing about the movie. But then it kind of made sense because they showed near the ending of the movie that they closed their doors to everyone and they wouldn't allow anyone in. You know, they completely shut their doors and wouldn't let people in. The only people they let in were these religious tyrants who literally brought the plague there. And so that's probably the real reason why they didn't get the plague, honestly. Because they closed their doors, because they went on lockdown, a kind of lockdown. And so I think that that's BS too. So it's just, there's a lot to discuss, you know. I could go on. There's just so many things, so many cool things in this movie. The ending is very sad though, because instead of going with Bartolina, who knows what happens to Bartolina, because she was a prostitute, so what does she do after that? She becomes a prostitute again. Maybe she probably got killed by someone, and then we never found out about it because prostitutes didn't matter back then. You know, they still don't matter. They can get killed at the drop of a hat. No one cares. You know, they could just get killed in broad daylight. And it's like, oh, that's a hooker, you know, she got, you know, so who knows what happened to her. But Benedetta leaves her so that she can go be inside the Covenant and be a martyr. And then it's funny because the Covenant rejects her completely, and instead they imprison her for the rest of her life. So that's like, she was like 28 or something when this movie happened, during the events of this movie. So that's 38, 48, 58, 68. That's 40 plus years that she was imprisoned, and then she died. But, you know, that's really sad. They have this last shot of the movie, and it's the shot of the town of Pescia, Joe Pescia. And the town, it looks like a very beautiful, like a haven, like a safe haven, like a place like, yeah, I want to go there. Like it's this beautiful town on top of this mountainous landscape, and it's like it's a false haven, because you have these people there who are just such losers. They're such weirdos that they have this mentally ill woman. I mean, I guess she was mentally ill, in my opinion. That, you know, you have this mentally ill woman, and what do? They imprison her, and they treat her like shit for the rest of her life. They said, like, when she ate dinner with the other sisters, she would be forced to sit on the floor and stuff like that. Like, what a disgusting group of people back then. These people. Oh, I see a kitty. So, anyways, if you guys like this long video, I'm sorry about it being this long. You know, I really love this movie. I wanted to talk about it a lot, and there's just so much stuff to talk about. You know, probably even more. Like, maybe tomorrow I'll do a part 2. So please like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment, tell me what you thought about Benedetta, sorry, and then or tell me about it after you see it, and then please subscribe to our channel for more movie reviews. Where I talk about big ass titties, big Daisy Ridley, blonde Daisy Ridley. Damn, she is the blessed one. She is very blessed in very big ways. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.